Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we begin, let me introduce myself briefly. I am Maryana Hasibatul Afanah and a student of State Islamic University Malang from Biology Department. Today I'm going to share about Western imperialism on the Islamic world. Okay, the presentation will be in 4 subtopics. I'll begin by outlining the story of imperialism. Then I'll go on to highlight the imperialism factors. Then Turkey's setback and Western expansion. And finally, I'll briefly to discuss Islamic resurrection. Please feel free to ask questions during the presentation, okay? First, I'd like to talk about subtopic 1, History of Imperialism. The imperialism occurred to the world since the theory of Galileo Galilei, which stated that the earth is round. So that's why this and many European nations began sailing to prove the theory. Next, the fall of the Mughal Empire to the Hindus and the decline of the Islamic world, and make West growing fast and there is imperialism, namely Islamic times deceived by worldly things so easy to colonize by the West. Lastly, discovery of the Americas by Christopher Columbus and Tanjung Pinang by Vasco da Gama. This even made it easier for Western nations to dominate the world economy because they sailed without passing through Islamic territory. I'd like to move on to subtopics 2 about factors supporting Western imperialism to Islam. The first factor is about spirit of national identity or nationalism after the outbreak of the French Revolution. And you need to know that this tragedy is the greatest act of revolution of the world. On the other side, it's called by jingoism, which means an extreme patriotism in the form of an aggressive foreign police. As a result of this action, a rhetorical order of the white people to colonize and control other countries for the benefits of white people, which is called by the white man's border. Let's move on to the next factor. The next factor is about the development of industry in Europe has grown since Britain invention and continues to develop into industries. An example of a great invention that became the biggest revolution was the steam engine invented by James Watt in 1769 until he was considered the father of industrial revolution. Then other inventions emerged such as locomotive created by Richard Tivtik in 1804 and the warships created by Robert Fulton in 1814 and many others. I'd like to move on to subtopic 3 about Ottoman decline and Western expansion. Generally, the decline of the Ottoman Turks was due to the new political power in the West. Sultan Ahmed III had made reforms but only prevented the decline, not saved the Ottoman Empire. During the 18th century AD, the West continued to take the end of the battlefield and end the signing of the Treaty of San Stefano on March 1878 and the Treaty of Berlin June to July 1878 AD. Those are some of the causes of the collapse of the Ottoman period. And the next is Western penetration into the center of the Islamic world in the East. First was England and France. The French expedition was led by Napoleon Bonaparte, but was later replaced by General Claver in 1799 AD. One time France fought with England but lost and left Egypt on August 31, 1801 AD. And we can see the picture below is an illustration of Napoleon Bonaparte expanding in several areas with his followers. I'd like to move on to subtopic 4 about the rise of Islam against the Europeans. In the middle 20th century, the Islamic world began to rise to liberate itself from colonialism. The effort to restore Islam is known as the renewal movement. The renewal movement arises because some factors. The first factor is the emergence of awareness among the ulama that many foreign teachings are contrary to Islam. For example, Wahhabi movement in Arabia, Shah Waliullah movement in India, and others. And the second factor is in this period, the West dominates the world in the fields of politics and civilization. And next, in science, the sultans in Turkey were sent to find out information about development taking place in the European world, so that white Islam renovated its government system. In addition, the Pan-Islamism movement is a revolutionary movement that opposed the Western world's colonization of the Islamic world. And also, Pan-Islamism occurred in Egypt since the time of the At-Tatawi in 1801 to 1873 AD and in Jamaluddin Afghani's era. And the idea of nationalism also spread in Arabia. I'd like to end the presentation by summarizing the information. The conclusion of this material is that the occurrence of Western imperialism against Islam is due to the existence of two powers in Europe, which include shipping, technology, economy, and politics. This causes the Islamic world to be underestimated because it lags far from the aspects that have been mentioned earlier. However, the Islamic world has re-emerged with several nationalist movements in several countries, as well as improving the system of government and technology. Let me give some verse, and the meanings is, "O you have believed, if you support Allah, He will help you, and plan firmly your faith." Like the verse above, we must fight for everything that is right and believe that there will be a way in every truth. Maybe that's all from me. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them, and you can write in the comments column below. And so, ladies and gentlemen, was what I wanted to share with you. So I'm sorry for making a mistake. Last I say goodbye and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.